Welcome to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and today I'm delighted to be joined once again by Colin Watt. How you doing, Colin?
I'm good, mate. How's yourself?
I'm very well. You're looking pretty smiley. You happy with this team lineup? I know we did speak about it this afternoon. What's your thoughts on the lineup?
Yeah, so it's not too far off what we were anticipating today. If anyone heard any strange noises in the background, Paul's belly's rumbling. Tea time kickoffs are never good for that. No, but a lot of the team that we suggested has been given the go ahead. They're looking at Hazard in goal again. As we said, I think the confidence boost that he'll get from having been on and saving the penalties at the weekend is great. You suggested Aaron Julian moving into the centre half roles. That's certainly what's happened. And two up front, so it's an attacking lineup. We're looking forward to it. I'm glad to see Sorrow and Turnbull in there. Brown obviously been rested with his injury. I think there's still everyone's debating in the comments whether it's a 3-5-2, a 4-4-2. I'm not quite sure how it's going to line up. You can see it as a diamond, you can see it as a 4-1-3-2. I don't know how it's going to line up, but all you really want is the 3 points tonight.
Well, let's have a wee chat about how you see it lining up, because I think when I mentioned earlier the only change from the team that I picked earlier, I think, unless you want to correct me, I didn't have Griffiths starting because I didn't think Neil Lennon would start with the two up front. I'm delighted that he has. And I had Taylor sitting at left back. Yeah. So Taylor's on the bench, and obviously the way I'm looking at it is Luxalt will be filling in at left back. You know, the overlapping left back, and Frimpong on the right hand side, I guess, with Julian and Ayer in the centre of defence, Sorrow and McGregor in front of them, and then you've got your Banky three, Christie, Turnbull, and no, you don't actually, because you've got Christie and Turnbull, Griffin, Eddie. That's
the thing, isn't it? It's quite an interesting lineup. So, I mean, you can see it as a dynamic 4-4-2, but at that point you'd be playing Christie and maybe McGregor out on the flanks. You can see it as a diamond, maybe. So I'm not really sure how they're going to line it up, but 4-4-2 certainly looks good to me. I'm delighted to finally see that partnership up front of Griffin and Eddie. It's been a while. It was the kind of turning point for us last season when we turned to that from January onwards. Griff says he needs game time, so it's about time he showed us what he can do. 4 goals in 200 minutes so far. Hopefully another one tonight.
Games like tonight, though, are Lee Griffiths' bread and butter, aren't they? I mean, you could play him even when he's not 100%, and he's going to grab you goals throughout a season. You know, the big season that he had under Ronnie Dyler, 40 goals in a season. I mean, domestically, he knows this game inside out, Colin. And we've been calling for it time and time again. Now, the big reason he's not been playing is due to fitness. There can't be any other reason.
I mean, he says it's down to fitness, but I mean, I don't know. I see a lot of comments saying, Griff's kind of carrying a bit of weight, but then when you look back at it, some of our players over the recent years that have scored a lot of goals for us, like Chris Commons, was always carrying a bit of weight. If you're scoring the goals, you should be getting yourself into the shape. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's the way that he's built, that he wants to play with a bit of extra strength to hold the ball up. I don't know, but the goals will answer all the critics. So if he gets one tonight and he keeps going on this run, then people will not be talking about what he had for his dinner. They'll be talking about the balls that he puts away in the back of the net.
The big one for me when the question about his fitness was being spoken about in the media was Chris Sutton. You know, lambasting. I mean, he really went for Lee Griffiths, didn't he, about his fitness and being overweight. And, you know, Chris Sutton played a lot of games alongside Big Hartson, and Hartson admits himself he was never 100%, and he actually enjoyed carrying a bit of weight because he felt that he could use it. The fittest he ever was as a professional, he reckons, was under Gordon Strachan. And so that's because Strachan was a fitness fanatic, and you know, his pre-seasons were torture by all accounts. But I felt some of the criticism was a bit unfair of Griffiths. He's starting a game in familiar surroundings against a side that, you know, he knows how to score against. I'm looking forward to that as a partnership. In the midfield, though, I mean, it's an interesting dynamic. I mean, I think if you were to push McGregor kind of wide, he's less effective. That's my big concern with that. Turnbull looks really comfortable just behind the front two, just behind the forwards, but he might have a different role tonight. You really can't be going into a game against Ross County with two holding midfielders, surely, at home.
Well, that's the way I maybe see it lining up as a diamond tonight, with them not playing wide. So you're sort of looking at McGregor and Christie sort of playing just behind Turnbull, or Turnbull just behind Christie, and Sorrow holding, and then you're expecting basically your fullbacks to make that run forward tonight. And that's what we've been saying over the last couple of games, is we just don't seem to have enough width in the team. And the two up front tonight will only work if we get the service to them. They're not going to set up their own chances. We've got to get the ball to them. We've got to get either the crosses over, or we've got to play it through the heart of the Ross County defence. So great to have two up front, but we've got to get service to them.
You're talking about the width. I mean, where is the width there? Because I mean, Frimpong, I've been critical of him as a defender. He's obviously playing as an overlapping fullback, as is Laxalt, because I mean, neither of the two of them are good with their deliveries. I mean, Laxalt doesn't have that in his locker, and for all the stick that Taylor gets, I mean, I think Taylor's delivery, overall has been better than Laxalt. As much as I like him, and I think he made a good impact when he came in from AC Milan, Colin, I've been kind of disappointed with him in the final third, and you're going to be looking at Frimpong and Laxalt to deliver a lot better. And I mean, when you're looking at some of the balls getting played into Eddie, particularly from the likes of Julien and Duffy when he was playing, they're the kind of balls that Griffiths loves, just into the channels, into the wee pockets of space in behind the defence. And Eddie really doesn't fancy those kind of balls, because then he finds himself out at the corner flag. Griffiths will do all that all day long. But one of the biggest issues I've had with Celtic this season is their lack of width. Now, obviously, we've really missed James Forrest. Mikey Johnston's coming back into the side. You thought he might have started. Are you hoping to see him at some point tonight?
I think we will see him tonight at some point. He definitely looked sharp when he came off the bench at the weekend. And a game like this would have been a good one to throw him on, even if it was for 60 minutes, just to see what we can get out of him. I don't think anybody's expecting to see Griffiths last the 90 minutes, so I didn't see where the harm would have been in playing Johnson. That suggests to me that we're playing more narrower in the midfield and expecting the fullbacks to go forward. Some good comments coming in here saying that if you play the diamond, you've got nobody to protect Frimpong defensively, and that's where we've seen him at his weakest. But you're hoping tonight that Ross County won't have that many attacks going forward. A lot of it will be trying to clear the ball out, hoping that Stewart will hold it up for them up front and playing off that. I don't see them having the possession of the ball to drive forward with us. So maybe we'll see Frimpong having the luxury of going forward and not having to be as defensive minded, with Sorrow and the two centre halves sweeping up any of the attacks coming forward.
We've seen what Ross County are capable of just a few weeks ago, Colin. They stopped our historic run of domestic dominance, and obviously John Hughes is now in the manager's chair. We've been very complimentary about Yogi, but he's been out the game for 3 years. What does Yogi do? What does he bring to the table tonight?
I think it's too soon for him to make any large scale changes tonight. I fully expect him to just sit in, soak up the pressure, probably play 10 behind the ball and try and hit us on some sort of counter attack. I think they've got a fantastic striker in Ross Stewart, and he's one, certainly, having watched the game a couple of weeks ago, we've definitely got to keep an eye on. But you'll not really see Yogi's influence for another couple of weeks probably. Ross County have a couple of injuries as well. Some of their centre halves are out, so he'll be using what he's got of the squad and be looking to the January transfer window to try and strengthen it.
Now, we did cover the game in full on Sunday, and that was because we could rely on the live coverage giving us live footage, which was great. Obviously tonight the game's on Celtic TV, but we'll be doing the pre-match, half-time and post-match as we normally do on the match days. But I mean, we've spoken about the lineup and the possible formations. I'm going to have a look at some of the comments coming through in just a second, Colin, but having seen the team, is your prediction going to change for tonight's outcome?
I'm trying to remember what I said a couple of hours ago. Did I say 3-0, 3-1, 3-0? Either way.
You said 3.
Yeah, either way, I don't think I'd change it. What I'd really like to see is us actually coming out the gates and really having a go at them tonight. There's been the build-up at times has been so slow, and I just want to see us come out and actually have a go at them. I feel as though this side has the ability to put quite a few goals past a team like Ross County in the position that they're in, and it could be the catalyst for a bit of a run for us if we do so, getting the confidence back in the side. So I'd like to see an early goal, and I'd like to see us build on it, and 3-0, 3-1, whatever one I said earlier. I think someone says I said 3-0, I'll take that.
Well, the other thing obviously is that there's early kick-offs tonight. There's a full complement of games. Do you think that Rangers are going to drop anything? I mean, it's wishful thinking. They obviously showed against St Mirren that they are beatable. We wouldn't have expected. I certainly didn't expect them to go to Paisley and get a defeat the other week there. I mean, a game like this, as I said earlier on, they're going to drop points, Colin, and it might be an unexpected evening like tonight. I'm expecting them to win fairly comfortably, and obviously I'm looking at the goals deficit as well. And you do a prediction on our WhatsApp. I think Celtic are going to win convincingly tonight.
Yeah, do you want to tell everyone what you're thinking?
Maybe by the end of the podcast. But
keep them waiting.
I actually think it's an opportunity. We're playing a team here. There's a bit of needle in the fact that they've knocked us out the cup, and deservingly so. I thought Ross County were excellent. They played the game so well that day. They're going to have a bit of a bounce from John Hughes, but as you say, what can you implement in a couple of days? They might just get that momentum, that natural kind of flow of adrenaline. Celtic, I'm looking at that team there, and a few weeks ago, you'd have raised eyebrows at the likes of Hazard being in there. That's a strong side we've got out there tonight. And it's a strong bench as well. I mean, looking alongside the likes of Johnson and El Yunusi, who featured in dispatches on Sunday, Encham's back in there, but we spoke about him earlier because I think he's the most likely to leave in January. Are you surprised to see him back in? Would you rather have seen somebody like Henderson coming back into the fray? Yeah,
I'd like to have seen Henderson definitely involved tonight. I take it then he must be injured because he's not been in and around the squad, and he really didn't do anything to deserve not being on the bench after playing against Lille. I thought he was outstanding. He did seem to take a knock in that game, so maybe he's not shook it off yet. And Cham, it's another option in the midfield, I suppose, with Brown being out injured. Who else have you really got in there? Would you bring back Beaton to play in defensive mid? You got Luca Connell. There's not really a lot of options, so and Cham makes it back onto the bench. Good to see Ayeti and Klamala there as well, which means we've got 4 strikers in amongst the first team and the bench, so I'm happy with that. Johnston getting back into the side, there's a lot of options to come off that bench tonight if we have to turn to them, but looking at the team, looking at the way we've lined up, you're kind of hoping that it's maybe after 2-3 goals up that you turn to them and say, look, time to give you 15 minutes here, and start using the squad like I was suggesting earlier, because if we only use a select 16, 17 players, then we aren't going to give these guys minutes and they aren't going to be ready for when we have to call upon them. So it's time to start utilising the squad, especially with the run of games that we've got coming up.
No, I totally agree with that. And, when we're looking through some of the comments, it's interesting because we've been hearing for weeks and weeks a lot of people pushing for Griff to come back in. There's so much goodwill with Lee Griffiths, when you think about what's happened this season, even just this season. And the onus was on him, really, Colin, to get himself fit. And then you see the kind of tide turning, and a lot of fans saying, he's let us down again, he's not got a future at the club. Here he is, we're now pining for him to get into that side, and he was almost the cup winner on Sunday. And I know Kenny Wilson, who's commenting on YouTube for a long time, has been waiting to see Eddie and Griffiths teaming up. Huge night for both. I mean, they just complement each other. It's like any great partnership, they probably can't put their finger on it. They just, they're well matched. And I think that Griffiths does all that menace and all that running around about Edouard and create space for him. I expect both of them to be on the score sheet. I'm going to say Griffiths is going to score the first goal. I was getting loads of stick earlier on because I was being criticised for being negative. And what I keep saying is that the narrative on this show, Colin, is generated and influenced by what we're seeing on the pitch. I'm going to go 5-0 Celtic tonight.
Oh, I thought we were going to hold off to the end of the podcast.
Nah, I couldn't help myself.
15 minutes.
The positivity was brimming. I thought I would share that with everybody. 5-0 Celtic, and Griffiths to score the first goal, for it just to cave in after that. As much as I love Big Yogi and all that, this is all about Celtic.
The thing is, we've been due to win a game by that this season. When you look at the players that we've got, the last time we really kind of was comfortable was maybe Hibs, the 3-0 game, or the Hamilton. So I think, there will be a time when Celtic give a team a doing, and I don't see why it couldn't be tonight.
Let's have a look at some of the comments coming in. Tosh Bear grills Junior Malone. Is that your real name? You're commenting on YouTube 352. It's all about us now. It is. I mean, the two up front's been something that, you know, in these domestic games, Colin, the vast majority of them, you can get away, certainly at home, playing two up front. But we seem to have been very cautious in doing that. And I don't think any of the forwards are suited to playing the lone striker role.
No, I think the only one would be Griff. I think Griff is quite a natural lone striker. You see it when he plays for Scotland as well. But you're kind of hoping that he'll maybe create chances for himself tonight and put them on a plate for Eddie as well. I'm looking to see Turnbull using a bit of his magic to get the ball through to them. If they start linking up well and they get a couple of goals, maybe they'll get themselves on a bit of a run. I've got to say that the last guy there, the Tosh Bear guy, fantastic picture there. It was Tyson Fury in Celtic outfit.
It was. IH Decorating, who supported our charity weekend over the weekend. Thank you for doing so. Evening, guys. Hopefully a solid win 2-0 this evening. Absolutely. We need to start clawing back the goals, don't we? Nothing less than 3 wins on the spin before Ibrox will do if we are to turn this league campaign around. I was asked yesterday the question, Colin, quite simply, can Celtic turn it around? I've got to say, I've got to believe that they've got the can. I'm a realist, and I'm looking at that comment by IH Decorating. If we drop a single point over the next 3 games before Ibrox, it's gone. But you know, we've got to keep that belief, and we're still in the fight as long as we get maximum points tonight. Hamilton, Dundee United, and Ibrox, and only then can we have a look at it and say we're back in this, or we're still in this. Yeah,
you've got to go into that basically transfer window believing that there's a chance that you can get anything back out of it. I mean, I see the games have now been rescheduled that we were waiting on. I think it's March and February for the 2 games, so you're not going to play those games in hand for a long time yet. So you've got to kind of keep putting the points on the board and hoping that there'll be some sort of slip up. I don't think it'll be tonight. I think they're on a good run at the minute, and St Johnstone aren't a great side. I could see them maybe scoring a couple, so it's up to us to keep up the pace with them and show them that when it comes to January 2nd that they'll have a challenge on their hands.
Well, you know what, I said 5-0. I wasn't being disrespectful to Ross County or indeed John Hughes. I think Rangers will win at least 4-0 tonight, and it's all about trying to turn that balance around as well, Colin, because when you're looking at a deficit of the points, that's one thing, but the goal difference is unbelievable at this moment in time. And as you say, I do think that we do have it in us to turn teams over, like Ross County, like Hamilton, like St Mirren. It's time that we started doing it. Michael the Boy, good attacking team. I would agree with that. And here's the thing as well, Celtic Rab, who has been supporting ACSOM for many years, hopes for 3 points, then a good performance, even 2 or 3 goals up. We are of the kind of habit or of the view, Colin, that we want to see Celtic playing in a certain way. I'm at the stage at the moment, I just want the results. I want the points on the board.
That's the main thing, is the points on the board. If you were to play Rangers next week, they wouldn't be fearful of playing a Celtic side. But if you start going on a couple of runs, win a games, then suddenly they know that we might actually have a bit of momentum going into it, but at the minute, it's something that we don't have.
There seems to be positivity flowing through the ACSOM broadcast tonight. It obviously started with me, Colin, and from Facebook, 5-0 to the hoops, Eddie and Griff to get doubles. I'd love to see it. I mean, how often in the past, you know, a hat-trick for Griff or a 5-0, we've seen it so often, but this season we've been grinding out everything that we've got. So I think a lot of fans are looking at the game, and it would make them happy if we win 3 or 4-0, but I can see Rangers doing the same at McDermott tonight. So I think it's imperative that we have that emphatic scoreline. 1-0 for me, I'll take it. I'll take the 3 points. That's what I was saying before. That's the priority. But it would be great to carve open the side and start getting some of the deficit down.
Oh, definitely. And as you say, you just got to keep going. Just the 3 points is the most important thing. After that, you start looking for the goals, and then performances, and then to start clicking as a team. The team performance is one of the most important elements to Celtic, and we've not really seen a full team performance so far this season. We ask the question, what's the most complete 90 minutes? And we've not really had one yet. Tonight would be a good place to start. Yeah,
we've been asking that all season. I actually think the Lille game has probably been that game.
And
I
even at
think
that point, we conceded 2 goals.
I know.
So clean sheet as well. That would be really, really good tonight.
It definitely would. Now, Facebook user, sorry, I don't know your name because there is a registration process on StreamYard, but you're saying that I was disappointed with Laxalt's delivery. Wouldn't matter who's delivering any ball with nothing to hit. Edouard's movement has been a joke, and we don't have anyone that wants to win a header. Does Griff change all that, Colin?
It all depends on the delivery, doesn't it?
Well, the movement.
Yeah.
The movement is a big thing for me.
Griff has a lot of movement.
Yeah.
Eddie's was a bit static, especially at the weekend. But again, you've still got to get the delivery right. And I still think that we have to hit the byline, we have to hit the touch lines, get the balls over. Don't stop at the 18-yard box. Drive into the box. Make the other team commit the foul. You're either going to have a chance to play it across goal to 2 strikers that should be there, or you're going to get brought down and give the referee a decision. You've got to be shown to be on the attacking foot. Don't just keep putting the balls into the box. Mix it up.
By the way, we were talking about Taylor earlier on. Taylor's obviously dropped out tonight. And we were then maybe criticising, or I certainly was criticising Laxalt for the final ball. Taylor has played, even on Sunday, he did exactly what you said. He's hitting the byline, he's getting the ball across. And to go back to the comment that came in on Facebook, Edouard was unable to finish it. So I take that point 100%. But we have missed that wing play because what you get from that is you stretch the back line. And therefore it creates space for whoever's in the middle, be that Edouard and Griffiths. I mean, I'm imagining that, in a few weeks, hopefully, I don't know when James Forrest is due back, but, if you had Mikey Johnson down the left, Jamesy Forrest down right, that opens things up. You've got a completely different team with those 2 individuals playing left and right. Any idea when Forrest is going to come back? Because I know that originally it was 6 to 8 weeks.
I'd heard it's going to be the end of January.
Right.
So I think he's still a wee while back yet. Someone was telling me the other day they'd saw him kicking about in crutches still, so not the best sign. But let's when you take a player like that out the squad, you lose his goals and you lose his assists, and we've not had somebody to replace him yet so far this season. So you're right, you do need someone there. Maybe it's a position that you look to strengthen in January for the short term as well.
Zinco Vix, welcome to the show. You're commenting on YouTube. Good to see Sorrow start. To be fair, Bruni played well over his time expiry limit. I think Bruni did play well, but we kept him on the park too long, Colin, I think, against Hearts in the cup final. We were all kind of screaming for Sorrow to play. Celtic won the game, so it's not as though we were right and Neil Lennon was wrong, but he's reverted back to Sorrow in the starting lineup tonight. Possibly forced, obviously Scott Brown's injured, but I think he would have come back anyway. Yeah,
it was definitely put in, and we said on the bulletin earlier that Brown was in to handle the threat of Naismith, and you've seen exactly what happened there. You saw the kind of clashes between the 2 of them, and Brown did well in that role. Tonight, you're not really going to see that. You're not going to see a battle of the midfield. You're going to see 2 teams trying to play football. I think Ross County have tried to do that all season. It's not really worked for them, but I can't see them changing it now. And we'll get to see Sorrow play in the role that we've come to see him over the last few games, and he's really impressed me, so I'm looking forward to seeing him play in that position again tonight.
Aero 250, welcome back. Your avatar with wee Jamesy Forrest, seems like a long time since we've seen him there. About time we unleashed the Griffin Eddie connection. I hope it's not a damp squib. We've been waiting for this for a while, and you just want to see that connection immediately, because if it does and it goes well tonight, then Jungle Line might get the steamroller performance that you reckon Celtic need tonight.
We all need it, don't we? It's been so long since I think a lot of fans tonight are looking forward to the game, and I think it's been a while since we've actually looked forward to watching Celtic tonight, because we've took a look at the lineup, quite excited about how it's going to go. As you said, you really just don't want this to be a damp squib. You actually want to see the performance that we've been waiting for Celtic to give us all season, and there is a bit of optimism in the air tonight.
There seems to be. We're getting Barca Boy coming in with a prediction of 4-0, and Mark, who joins us on most broadcasts, if not all of them, the fullbacks will push forward, keep the defensive mid back just to protect the central defence. I mean, Sorrow's key for that, isn't he? And I think what Sorrow also allows is for McGregor to express himself, Colin. We said that before, Duffy comes back into the side and that pushes Ayer onto the right and he was very effective there. Sorrow comes in and releases McGregor. So you were seeing the kind of secondary benefits of these players coming back into the side.
And that's what we've been talking about, is the squad utilisation. You look at these players that can play in different positions. You're speaking about Ayer going out onto the right. So we're starting to see the best of players when we play them in the positions they're more comfortable in. In Ayer's case, do we really know what his best position is? Because some of his best performances have been on the right. We see he's a centre-half. Some people in this chat want to play him in defensive midfield. Who knows? It's... oh wow, yeah, I'd take that, by the way. 6-0 tonight, that would be great. 6-0 again. Told you there's optimism in the air tonight, Paul.
That's probably more realistic though. We'll really, let a goal in. 6-1. We could end up with egg on our face because, Ross County came and beat us well just a matter of weeks ago. Has so much changed for both parties? Could we go out there and have an emphatic result tonight, Colin? Or are we just getting a bit carried away because we've won 3 games on the bounce?
We could be getting carried away, to be honest, Paul. I think everyone's just looking for a wee boost here. They're looking at a team that has just sacked their manager, has got a new guy in. The team, for the first time tonight, we've seen 2 up front. That is Edward and Griffiths. So there is the kind of nostalgia of what happened last year, and I think everyone's looking forward to us getting back to maybe playing that way. And yeah, I think I said 3-0. I'd take 6-0, but if it comes.
Yeah, absolutely. On the subject of Neil Lennon, the comments about, this pressure being lifted after the quadruple treble, this immense pressure of the occasion, of the historical relevance of that, Colin. Do you think we'll see a free-flowing Celtic side probably for the first time this season? Because I was surprised that he said that, but we don't know what's going on in the heads of these footballers. The fact that it could well have been, heavy on their minds.
I don't know how much of Neil Lennon really talked it up, but I don't know how much of a strain it was having on the players, this sort of historic quadruple treble. I think the guys just go on the part and try to play football to the best that they can. I think the amount of games they're playing is probably having more of an impact on them than the fact that we were going for this treble. But what you'll get from Sunday will be that sort of confidence boost, especially from the likes of Connor Hazard, saving the 2 penalties at the weekend. You could see the celebrations at full time. Everybody was up. They were happy, they were celebrating, and you want to just carry that on, get that feel-good factor continuing through the team.
I can't remember such a positive set of comments coming through, Colin, and it all seems to have started with the team line being released with 2 up front. And Griffin Eddy seems to have changed everybody's mood, or are we still intoxicated with the quadruple treble celebrations from Sunday?
Oh, who knows? But it could be a totally different show come half time if it's still 0-0. Let's cross our fingers and hope it doesn't come to that. Yeah,
we don't want the show turning into a meme, because that's obviously what a certain group of fans love to do with their times, even when their own team's playing. Callum Hardy, best team in a long time, comfortable win ahead. I hope you're right, Callum. And 9th Legion says, let Eddie roam just off Griff and let them both link up with each other. And also Turnbull, hoorah. Now, when you look at Turnbull's performance on Sunday, I love the wee keep you uppy moment.
And the crossover.
Yeah, brilliant. Nice. But he was a wee bit less involved in the game than I would have expected.
I think he played really well in the first half. Again, I don't even remember if he played in the cup final against Celtic when he was at Motherwell.
You're talking about the second treble?
Yes.
He was on the bench.
Yeah, so it's a first cup final for someone like that, so you've got to give them a chance to settle into the game. I think he was taken off and the game sort of changed when they brought Roderick on. I'd love to see the two of them playing together to see what they could actually create at some point. Who knows? But I think we'll see the best of David Turnbull tonight.
Well, the team are making their way onto the park, so we won't keep anybody back, but it's great to see Peter Lowell getting involved in the chat tonight. He's going for a 1-1.
Now, you know why that is? He doesn't want to pay the win bonus.
Well, Colin, we will be back at half time. Hopefully we'll be talking about a pulsating first half performance by Celtic. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you again at half time.
Yeah, well.